Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Brownie here today with another video, and in this video we're going to talk about how to hook up Insta360 X3 to your motorcycle. Let's go. And here are the things that you're going to need for this video. So you're going to need a 360 camera, of course. Then you're going to need the motorcycle mount. I assume that if you purchase this camera for your motorcycle, you probably got the bundle, so you should have this. You will get this clamp in that box, which is what we're going to use, and this is what really holds the camera in spot. You're going to need the selfie stick that comes with the camera itself. Then you will need a couple of zip ties. These are pretty useful. You can chain them to create longer tether. Then this is an important part, so I'm going to explain this before so you don't waste your time watching the video, just in case you don't have it. So we'll use this strap and you're going to need it. If you don't have this strap, don't waste your time. You can leave the video right now. I assume if you have a different motorcycle with the strap, you should be able to do the same process. Last, you don't need this, but it's good to have it. You will need some shoelaces. Now, this is just for extra safety. You don't have them, you don't need them, but it's good if you have it. All right, guys, so I got my seat back on. So next thing you want to do is get the clamp out and you want to just roll it out, open just a little bit so it just fits right in the strap. Make sure the knob is facing upwards. I put it right in the middle. So you can kind of go back and if you loosen this up, you can kind of stretch it to make sure it's all straight and nice and clean. Now, in this setup, you want to make sure the knob is facing this direction. This tightening knob in the middle is facing this way. A reason being, you can then adjust the angle of your camera. So you can also have the camera stick facing upwards so you can get a bit more of the road angle. So if you see this clip, you'll see how the camera is actually really low, and that's what I like to do. That's how I like my setup. But you do have the option with this setup to put your camera a bit more upright so you can see a bit more of the road in the front. So stretch it, tighten this, make sure it's completely clamped. Now, why I want this strap is because if my zip ties do break, my camera's not going to fall on the road. It will still stay on the bike. It's just a safety tether. This is the main part. So once you have this, you're going to tighten this as well. Now, the second step is to put zip ties on it. So now you can tether multiple zip ties. So you can go in, so you can kind of like tether them and make it longer. So you can even tether one more on this end and make it even longer if you need to. Now what this do is we're going to use the zip ties to go over it and then tie under the seat. Under the seat, hopefully it's a bit hard to focus and do this at the same time. So now at this stage, you don't want to tighten it too much. So if you notice, I've just literally, so I just did the bottom right here, but I haven't really tightened it. So if you notice the top, it's super loose. I want to keep it loose so I can adjust how far or close I want this to go. So I can put it right here. I want to push this up. You don't want to put any zip tie on that joint because this one you want to make sure you have flexibility for it to go up and down. You want it able to move. So you want to put it just before that. You can tighten it here. So now to tighten this thing, you probably need like a plier, and then you can just grab that and really tighten it. Now, you just notice one thing to know about this setup is that it might leave some marks on your seat over in the corner. So you can even put like a tiny piece of foam right here, so it doesn't really mess up the, the fabric on the seat at the back. All right, so if you notice, there's a tiny notch here, that one right there, and there's a tiny notch here as well. So if you move this here, move the, the zip tie just a little bit before the notch, or see that tiny notch there, it will actually lock there. It will not shift forward, so which is a good thing about this. So this is done. I'm going to pull the top as well. I'm going to take 3 more. We're going to do the same process, so we're going to go one, and then we're going to go one more. So now we have an uber long tether, you can see. So this one can go even longer because the seat over here is quite wide, so we're gonna need a longer tether. You can hook it up, then you can adjust it. The main thing you're gonna focus on is you need support at this joint and in the middle. I already have this, so I'm just gonna go all right, there we go. This joint is pretty much solid. So now this is what it looks like. So you got that. I'm gonna pull the same. For all the extra zip ties, you can just cut them off. So I'm going to take them off now. There you go. You got that. Super clean setup. Zip ties are lifesaver. Always have them. You can even get a bit thicker zip ties if you're worried they might break. If you go skinny ones, don't use them. Use the thicker ones. These are important. Don't cheap out on these. These are going to hold your bike, hold your clamp in spot. Now if you got this, then you can just hook it back up. There you go. And you got it all fit. Now, if you want to use shoelace on top, you can do that as well. You're just going to have to do the same process, roll over and tie it at the bottom. So I can show you that as well. For the lace, what I do is, it's important. So you're going to loosen it just a little bit. All right. Face it upwards, this knob right here, face it up. You're gonna take the middle of the shoelace, you're gonna wrap around it twice over here. Now it's important because then you can use that like this, and you can stretch it, right? You can just go underneath the seat. What I do is, you see this tiny notch right here? So you're gonna go like that and like that. So more like this. So when you pull it, it's gonna hold your thing in the spot even better. So then you can just go on top like that. It's just literally, there's no way how to do it, but the more crisscross you do, the better it's gonna be. So it's gonna be more like this. And then you can do a butterfly knot at the bottom. Just do a tie, just tie a knot at the bottom. I mean, you would probably know how to do a knot, that's all. So that's one way to do with the shoelace, and I can actually show you how the camera looks as well once you do this setup. Just stick with this, don't include a shoelace. It's just for extra security, but this one will do the job. You don't have to worry about it. You're gonna adjust your angle, whatever you want it to be. I usually like to keep it flat with the seat. I don't like to see the road, so if you wanna see the road, you will have to go like angle up a little bit and just really tighten it. So with the shakes, it doesn't wobble and then finally goes down. So you have to make sure this really tighten up if you do plan to get a higher angle. Now I don't, so I don't really care. I usually level it to the seat and then I just tighten this thing. Now when you're doing zip ties, when you're tightening the zip ties, make sure they're really, really tight. They're not gonna break, so make sure you really tighten them. If you have to, use 2 or 3 more. Don't be afraid to use more than 2. That's totally fine. If you also want, you could do another zip tie over here. So you could take a zip tie, you can go around this area and tether at the bottom again. So like that, so you could tether underneath. But of course, under the seat, not under the tail light. So just be aware of that. I'll just leave it there for now. That is it. So what I usually do with the camera is I open it all the way and then I close the last 2. It's probably out of the frame. I'll frame it shortly. So if you notice, so that's how I have my camera. So the last 2 extensions are closed because they're the most flexible and they will wobble the most. So you want to make sure those 2 are closed. It just helps. That is the setup, guys. It's all done. So this is what I do for all my 360 videos. I say all, like I have like 10,000, but I've only got 1, but this was my setup. So I hope this helps in any way. If it does, give it a like, subscribe, share the video for other people to know. Thank you. See ya. Focus.